use our own AI. We'll explore. Help the future hand in hand in this tech-driven wonderland.
GM, GA, GM, G, everything in between. Can you hear me, fellas, loud and clear?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Perfect. That is all I wanted to hear. Right. So for those of you watching at home, or perhaps you're watching it a little bit later, it's going to look like there is just three handsome men on this live stream right now, but there's not. There's actually five. There is the godlike voice of Kendall. Kendall, if you can say hello.
Hello from above.
You can hear him. Remember what he sounds like, because we're working with a technical issue, so you can hear him, but he's not on the stage. Jeff, can I hear a big hello? Maybe he didn't. He mustn't have tuned in just yet. Okay, but yes, my name is David. I am the head of social media, creative campaigns, whatever, at the NEA Foundation. I'm here with the wonderful Escobar, Kurt, and of course Kendall for proximity. We do have Jeff from Runemine coming on pretty shortly as well. And today's live stream is all about one thing and one thing only, and that is giving a nod back to the GOAT, to the father of cryptocurrency, to the one true BTC, and that is Bitcoin on NEA. So we're going to be going through a handful of the incredible projects that are opening up Bitcoin and opening up a brand new set of utilities for our most favorite digital asset in the entire world, and how NEA chain signatures plays into all that, right? Because it wouldn't be possible without the wonderful tech that many of the people on this call have built as well. So without further ado, let me pass it over to you guys for quick introductions. We will go Escobar, Kurt, and Kendall.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm Escobar, operational lead of Satoshi Protocol. So just a TLDR on what Satoshi Protocol doing, it enables users to do a direct deposit and withdrawal with one single Bitcoin wallet, utilizing near chain abstraction or chain signature. Yeah, we can deep dive more later on in the chat.
Amazing. Kurt, let's hear a little bit about you and Atlas.
Sure. Hey, everyone. I'm Kurt. I'm one of the co-founders of Atlas Protocol. Atlas is a non-custodial, chain-abstracted, native Bitcoin liquid staking protocol. So users can deposit native Bitcoin and earn yield and receive a liquid staking token on any chain of their choice, all powered by near chain signatures.
Incredible. And I'm going to speak out once more to the voices above us. Kendall, if you're there and you can hear me, perhaps we need to hold hands to connect with you in a seance-esque approach. But give us an intro.
Hey everyone, Kendall here from Proximity Labs. We're in the fortunate position of supporting these great teams like the Satoshi Protocol, Atlas, Runemine, and others. Yeah, I mean, our goal is just to make it as easy as possible to build on Bitcoin and expand the functionality while also preserving preserving as much of the user experience as possible. So as you'll see from both and all three of these protocols, you're actually going to be able to use your existing Bitcoin wallet. It'll feel a lot like using Bitcoin, just faster, cheaper, and with more functionality. And that's really what the goal is.
Amazing. I think I've used a little bit of Bitcoin in my time, and back in the day when you were purchasing certain things from certain websites, and you would send off your Bitcoin, and you would wait like 45 minutes, and then your heart would start racing because you're a poor university student and you don't really have that much money anyway, but you just wanted to, do certain things on a weekend with all your friends. But obviously the world has changed now, and the power of NEA chain signatures is hopefully going to change it even further. So Escobar, Kurt, can you guys dive into your projects a little bit more? Tell us what it's all about, an overview, an elevator pitch. And then I would love to hear a little bit more about how NEA's chain signatures fits into it.
Sure. I can start from my side on what Satoshi Protocol doing, and what's the background, why we want to build this in the market, and why we see it as that valuable. First of all, previously I ran a bridge in Bitcoin native chain. It's basically utilizing the stacks tech stack, but with my experience building with that tech and environment, it's like taking a lot of time to bridge one single Bitcoin wallet from one chain to another, and it's just not horrible, but not that good, and it's not also the best solution back then. So there's a discussion in the internal on how we can give the best experience in the market and what is the best solution on top of it. Starting from when they want to deposit their Bitcoin asset, um, they need to have like two wallets or even three wallets with even the destination chain wallet. That is something that we try to tackle here. The second thing is the deposit and withdrawal time. It takes like minimum 4 hours. Like you mentioned, David, before, it's like 45 minutes to deposit a Bitcoin, but now it's like 4 hours from one to another chain because it requires some off-chain computation stuff. We think that this is the best solution, and it's more decentralized way when we try to figure out which chain signature with all the MPC wallet, and it's gonna move to the near validator. All belongs to the near validator, right? That's the best approach that we think. So the intention of building this is simply to provide the best user experience and the best utility in the market. Because if we deep dive more in the Bitcoin ecosystem, it's still very early. Then they're not used to have all those MetaMask and whatsoever, because those who have MetaMask, those who have Meteor wallet, Hue wallet, is start from other chain directly, and they are not familiar in Bitcoin itself. So if we want to acquire those Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is the most native asset, is the most famous asset in the ecosystem. So how to get those users is simply give them the best experience on it, so they can utilize that one single Bitcoin wallet, and they can bring that Bitcoin to any other chain, but start from near for now. So that is the background and why we want to build this. And talking about incentive as well, when we see like there is a lot of angle when people just saying about staking Bitcoin, earn the yield and so on. There is even a protocol that need 2 weeks to withdraw their incentive. It's just like a lot of process there. And so with us, it's just like very simple. It's only take 20 minutes to Bitcoin block confirmation, and the fee will be extremely cheap compared to others. It's like $2, which is it's nothing for Bitcoin community.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, things have changed a lot, right? It's certainly gone a lot faster.
Yeah.
Kurt, I guess the same question for you guys over at Atlas.
Yeah, so I think we're tackling a lot of the same problems that Escobar just brought up, but setting the stage right. Bitcoin has no native smart contracts. It has no native yield, and a lot of the solutions that are in existence today trying to address this are very centralized. So we think there's room for improvement there. Essentially, what we're building in terms of Atlas as a Bitcoin liquid staking protocol is we want to provide the most decentralized, non-custodial version of Bitcoin staking that is out there today. So if you look at some of the larger projects out there, the dominant projects, they all integrate custodians within their architecture. So that introduces third-party counterparty risk into the Bitcoin staking process. With what we're building, it's completely governed by a smart contract. So essentially, you're exchanging counterparty risk with smart contract risk, but it makes it more decentralized and it makes it more traceable and transparent. A lot of the discussion today around Bitcoin staking really has to revolve around transparency and what happens with the Bitcoin, and are you treating Bitcoin differently from different stakers? For example, do you have a deal with a large holder of Bitcoin where they deposit their Bitcoin into your protocol and you offer them, a guaranteed yield on the side, but effectively what you're doing is you're circumventing your whole protocol to begin with to do that. And so what we're building is something that sort of eliminates all that and brings a lot of transparency to the industry and to the staking products. And we're doing that all through chain signatures because it allows our smart contract, which is on Near, to effectively sign the transactions on all these chains and move tokens around to various chains. So that's really the justification for what we're building. Can get into more how it works, but I'll stop there.
No, that's a brilliant overview, Ka. I appreciate it. Right now, I'm hearing through the grapevine that we do also have Jeff from Runemine on. Unfortunately, there is no camera, so again, this is going to be another voice of God moment. Jeff, if you can unmute and give me a big hello, and then I can fire the same questions over to you as well.
GM guys, great to be here.
I can hear him. I can hear him. Oh, thank the world. Thank God.
Been battling with my permissions, but here I am.
We found it. All right, Jeff. Okay, and now we have the Jeff and Kendall on screen as well. That is from the wonderful Jared Thompson from Beyond the Screen. I couldn't work out how to do it, but hey, here we are. Thank you, Jared. Okay, Jeff, from Runemine, give us a quick intro. Who are you? What's your favorite food to eat? Tell us all about Runemine. What are you trying to solve? And where does Near's chain signatures fit into that?
For sure. So yeah, I'm Jeff. I'm head of business and development at Runemine. We've been working on the project for about 15 months now. Started off as kind of purely a runes play. We started building infrastructure from a runes canonical indexer to a portfolio manager and kind of all the other things that you need in like a new nascent ecosystem. Since then, we realized that liquidity and bringing users and enabling the movement of funds between chains was going to be super important. So we started off with our runes to Solana bridge. We are the official bridge for PUPs and pretty much all of the other major runes. So if you've ever traded them on Solana, they are our SPL tokens. And since then, we're super centered on this kind of thesis that Bitcoin will be this dominant central chain which connects all other chains, and we believe that all other chains have a lot of them have a lot of use cases, and by bringing these kind of chains in, we can really enable people to interact with Bitcoin in another way. Unlike a lot of other projects, we're not so focused on the Bitcoin side. We're well aware that that is a very big kind of technical undertaking, and it's not exactly where our forte is. A lot of the team have kind of been through the ringer, started in Bitcoin, went to Ethereum, went to Solana, and then had come back around to Bitcoin. So we have a lot of experience in these other ecosystems and seen kind of like the communities and the culture and everything that can be built. So we're super keen on kind of bringing a lot of that back to Bitcoin and kind of making it fun. Runes essentially is a lot of meme coins at the moment. There is a lot of utility and other stuff that's coming through projects like ourselves and a lot of the other guys that are building in the space. But we want to kind of speed up that process of what's possible in Bitcoin, because that's not really going to change dramatically in the really short term by bringing in these other chains. And Near was just such an obvious choice to us to kind of enable this cross-chain functionality where we can control the Bitcoin or the Bitcoin assets in our case on the Bitcoin side through chain signatures, and then utilize the decentralized network of Near to run all of our computation on the background. So right now what we're building in line with Proximity Labs and the guys from Satoshi Protocol, Escobar, everyone's since we've joined, everyone's been so helpful and useful to us sharing their tech. But the first product that we're going to be launching is a bonding curve launch product for the Runes ecosystem. So this is going to be a pump.fun on Runes, but enabling cross-chain interactions from both Near and Solana, enabling fast, cheap, really kind of bringing the fun to Bitcoin asset launches, And we really think this is something that the space could use at this point. We've seen the open mint function work so well. It's good at kind of building communities and stuff, but it's not really given Runes the ability to launch in the same way that other projects launch in, say, the Solana ecosystem. So we're super excited to kind of bring a bit of that over to the Bitcoin space. And then, on top of that, we're obviously using things like meta transactions to pay all of the gas fees. So users will never need to know what chain they're actually utilizing in the back end. We're using function call keys and master keys so that users don't actually have to sign transactions once they're in. And through the chain abstraction and the chain signatures, we're actually able to let these users do this all from their wallet of choice. So it means that it doesn't matter if you're coming from the Bitcoin space or if you're coming from the Near space or you're coming from the Solana space, you're going to be able to plug into this protocol, trade runes in a really fast, exciting way. And then once those runes escape from the bonding curve, we can then move them on to kind of other products in the space. Or if you want to just kind of sell out and you've had your fun in the space, you're then able to just pull your coins back out exactly where you brought them in from. So whether that's to your Near wallet or your Solana wallet or wherever you've actually deposited these funds from. So this is something like we're super excited about. Everyone in the space that we've talked to is super excited about. And yeah, it's been a really kind of exciting journey, getting to know everyone in the Near space and seeing how fast things can move when everyone works together, because that's something like we've really noticed about Near. Like everyone's in this to kind of do it together, whereas a lot of the other chains there's a lot more kind of like competition between teams. So just really gassed to be here.
Well, we're gassed to have you, Jeff. 100%. That's incredible. I will definitely try it out. Hopefully, trying not to, lose too much. But let's see. Let's see. Let's see who works it out. I would be curious to hear. And I'm going to butcher his surname, but Luke Dasher, that he's like a core Bitcoin dev or something. He's very opposed to runes and ordinals. Thinks that they're an attack on Bitcoin sovereignty, but I don't think so. I don't think many of the people here think so. And just before we run into the next question, we've got a comment from a chill guy, Blaze X. He says, "Yo, Kurt looks like Kevin De Bruyne." I don't know who Kevin De Bruyne is. I did Google him. A Danish soccer player or something? Belgium,
yeah.
Yeah. I can see it. I can see it a little bit.
A compliment, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm that handsome.
Hey, look, we don't put ourselves down. We only put ourselves up. That's right. We're all on pedestals today. Okay. Kendall, you, although not necessarily pushing out a consumer-faced product like the rest of our guests, of course, behind many of the tech of chain signatures and sort of stewarding the whole process. Why do you think Near's chain signatures is the best tech to use to allow these people and, of course, our brilliant users to achieve their goals?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think what's different about the way that we've approached the problem versus some of the other solutions is that for us, it really is about kind of Near being the orchestration layer, which I think each of these guys laid out pretty nicely in their description, but not being the sort of front and center part of the experience. Because usually what that means when you onboard to a new blockchain is you're onboarding to an entire new ecosystem of tooling, even up to the wallet layer. If you're lucky, your current existing wallet supports the chain you're onboarding to. But in almost very few cases will you be able to use the same gas token. And so there's going to be like basically an explicit step that's like, okay, bridge, get or transfer, move, require assets, like some or multiple steps. And I think what's exciting about the way we're approaching this is that we can remove all of that friction, just about all that friction. There'll of course still be the step of sending your Bitcoin somewhere, but I mean that's an experience that pretty much everyone is already very comfortable with, and is just a standard part of the process. And actually, we'll even be able to enable, and Satoshi Protocol is doing a lot of the heavy lifting here, the ability to kind of deposit plus one additional action because of the way that this tech is working. So potentially you could even send your Bitcoin to an address, which could be, say, a lending protocol or Runemine or Atlas, and then that next step will actually happen immediately. So for Atlas, for instance, it could be like you send your Bitcoin and you immediately are going to receive your Atlas BTC somewhere else, like wherever your end goal is. For Runemine, maybe that's like aping into a new meme coin, or like buying into a new high quality asset, which will also be launched on that platform as well. Which I think is pretty exciting. Or it could even be, swapping your Bitcoin for something else. And so that's going to be quite different than anything else that I've seen in the market. There's definitely an attempt by some teams to build kind of meta protocols on Bitcoin itself that preserve that UX. I think one of the challenges there is that most of those are still very much bound by Bitcoin block time, which is fine for some use cases, but for something like, enabling price discovery on new assets, like that is going to be far too slow. And I think that's one of the things that's held back Runes and Ordinals, for instance, from gaining traction, is that price discovery on chain, while there's some really impressive products working with the constraints, it just can't happen in 10-minute blocks. And like with, MEV on Bitcoin, I think that creates a lot of problems. And so, yeah, I think that's really, what we're enabling. Or like for Atlas, for instance, I think as Kurt really harped on there, most of these, LSTs right now, they have to either build their own custody setup, or kind of, try to make it decentralized, or just utilize custodians. And that breaks a lot of the kind of, ethos of the Bitcoin ecosystem, which is maintaining trust minimization as much as possible. So with those two things together, just creating this infrastructure layer where developers can really stay as true to the community as possible. They don't have to require their users to get new wallets, to get new coins. They just get to use their Bitcoin in new and interesting ways, and stay as close to what with their current setup as possible.
Amazing. Brilliant answer, as always. Kendall, fabulous. I guess a similar question to Escobar, Kurt, Jeff. I mean, you're looking for a solution to build the products you guys are building, and you landed on Nia's chain signatures. I'm going to assume it's for many of the reasons that Kendall has just echoed to us there. Is there anything else you want to add?
I'll jump in. Especially what Kendall said there, like the Runes ecosystem specifically, and a lot of what happens on Bitcoin, there's a lot of friction when it comes from wallets, when it comes from user experiences with all of these different protocols. So for us, that real game changer versus, there's a lot of capabilities with these other chains which are doing somewhat similar stuff, but it's really that ability to smooth out the user experience, which really kind of drove us towards this. Like, there's so much friction already that if we can produce something with less friction, then it's predominantly going to be better than what anyone else can produce. All of the rest of the tech is like super great and really impressive, and something we're loving to work with. But really, that being able to do that meta transactions to remove the gas requirements, and to be able to do the wallet abstraction and even signing abstraction, these are all things that people in the Bitcoin space are used to having to deal with, like the most. It's basically the worst user experience pretty much in crypto most of the time. And we're now taking this to the other extreme, where it's going to become essentially a better user experience than you would get on Solana. So that to us is like the real win-win out of all of this.
Only possible on Nia, right?
Oh yeah, that's why we're here.
Hey, that's right. Kurt, Escobar, anything else you guys want to add?
Probably, I just want to add, I think Kendall and Jeff cover all the technical side and all what makes sense on why we're supposed to build on Nia. For me, it's the chain that I trust the most. And it's all about, I think when we want to build something, it's all about trust and who we're going to build this with and how we want to bring the narrative out. That's the most important thing for me, and for the team as well, of course. So, when we believe on something, that we just want to build on top of it, even though when we see like there's something that we can't figure out at the first stage, but apparently everything works really well right now.
Brilliant. Music to my ears. Kurt, how about you?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of reasons why we chose Near. One of which I think is very important and goes under discussed, is the support that we get from all the other teams building on Near. DeFi and Bitcoin and everything on Near is quite small right now with immense upside. But what that means is that, those of us that are building right now are all very supportive of each other, which is really cool. And also the, core team at proximity, near, etc., are super helpful whenever anything comes up. They're interfacing directly with us, addressing issues. So I think that the developer experience is really great and unique on Near, and I think that that is part of what led us here. And then secondly, with what we're building with liquid staking and wanting it to have an end goal of being an omni-chain protocol, basically users can mint their LST on any chain. You really can only do that with chain signatures on Near if you don't want to integrate a lot of different third-party things like Chainlink CCIP, for example. So basically, we can achieve all our goals with cross-chain and using Bitcoin all in one spot. And I think that that's super efficient from a development experience and also super efficient from a user experience. And so it really is great for us on all fronts.
Amazing. Music to my ears, as always. All right, guys, we have penciled out some audience Q&A. I put that in quotation marks, but instead of like doing a big boring block at the end, we're gonna throw them through, weave them in and out, as Trump would say. Given that he's in 3 days, we're gonna engage the weave. This one is from a guy called Sandy Fatic. He's left us with a wonderful joke. Why did the DeFi protocol go to therapy? Because it had commitment issues with its liquidity. Ha ha! You're banned. Get that man banned. He's not allowed to comment anything on the YouTube channels ever again. Kendall, perhaps a question for you from XLAM. How can Bitcoin transactions be verified on Near?
Yeah, that's a great question. So whenever possible, like our philosophy on verification of state transitions on other chains is to use light clients, and ideally light clients that are implemented as a smart contract on Near and that let anybody basically pass in the case of Bitcoin, a new Bitcoin block. And in the smart contract, the proof of work will actually be verified. That block will then be added to state, and then anyone can send a transaction to prove with a proof that they can easily create offline in a trust minimized way and then get that kind of recognized. So this is a big part of the way that I imagine all three of these teams are kind of tracking when someone deposits Bitcoin to a smart contract that's technically living on Near. So yeah, we're big believers in that as a core building block.
Amazing, wonderful. All right, Jeds. Big year 2025. The boss is back in the White House in 3 days. Love him or hate him. A much more pro-crypto government, or so it seems like it's going to be. What are you guys most excited about in the Bitcoin ecosystem for 2025? And you can't, as much as you would love to, say your own project, even though I'm sure it's going to be the most exciting.
Generally for myself, like having spent so much time deep in the Bitcoin space recently, it's actually seeing the emergence of everything coming together. Like we've got stable coins on the Athena model by USDH. We've got collateralized stable coins coming from Ducat. We've got, we're launching this launchpad, but there's also decentralized exchanges coming with Saturn through Arch. There's more bridging functionality. There's more L2s. Like really, I just think like with everything that's coming and the attention that's being put on Bitcoin, I was actually asked this in our community earlier on, like our room's dead, our ordinal's dead, and all. I think if you see from the back doors of like everything that's being built at one time and the speed that it's being built, and then that we've got a pro-crypto, pro-Bitcoin government coming in who are not going to prosecute everyone and regulate everyone. It's hard to kind of even pick any one area to be bullish on when I generally think this is going to be one of the wildest years to be working in the Bitcoin space. or to be working in any of the spaces that are now adjacent to Bitcoin. So, I think NEAR's positioned themselves really beautifully for what's to come this year. We never know what's going to happen. Maybe this bull market doesn't get as crazy as everyone thinks, or maybe it goes on for much longer. But either way, I think Bitcoin's very much going to be the center of attention. And, just kind of seeing this, we're potentially going to get updates from Casey on more rune functionality. There's so many different things that are all coming together at one time. And I think it'd be really hard to pin down exactly what it is that's going to make this cycle so crazy, but it's definitely going to happen.
Amazing. It's going to be exciting because there is no second best. There's no second best crypto asset. There's a crypto asset called Bitcoin, right? Let's see what Sailor does with it. That's going to be exciting, isn't it? Kurt, Escobar, Kendall, what about you guys? What are you feeling 2025? You're a Bitcoin or not?
Yeah, 2025 is going to be a Bitcoin season. Even when people are talking about AI, we know NEAR is as an AI chain, but we have seen in the market, people start scoping an idea on how Bitcoin as an asset supposed to be accessible for everyone. Let's say whoever don't understand crypto is supposed to able to make it as well through the AI. How they can simplify all the user experience. It's really the season because as we believe that it's the first crypto. It's the first cryptocurrency, and that's what people love the most. When people want to see the sentiment of the market, they just pay attention on Bitcoin and they think it's a season or not. So it's all about Bitcoin, right? But how we can really deliver on to the market on how they can utilize their Bitcoin is the goal in 2025. And in 2024, there's a lot of people or a lot of projects have tried on launching a Bitcoin layer 2. But apparently it's not as what expected, right? And I think NEAR play a big role in that case, probably for the Bitcoin ecosystem.
I would say from my perspective, one thing that I've noticed, and this sort of relates just to broader, crypto ecosystems, is there's a lot of layer 1 and layer 2s out there. So it seems like there's been no resolution as to what's going to happen with all the new launches of those. But one thing has been pretty common across all of them, and that is how do we get the liquidity of Bitcoin onto these blockchains? And so I think there's a big role to be played for any project building in the Bitcoin space and trying to connect the liquidity of Bitcoin to an L1 or an L2. And so I'm really excited to see how that plays out. I think we're in a position now where we can capitalize on that need to inject that liquidity into these chains. And so I just think it's going to be exciting to see what gets developed to enable that. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, I mean, really echo everything everyone said. I think it's, Bitcoin is the largest asset by far in the crypto ecosystem, and it's kind of a shame in how underutilized it's been. I know one of the dominant narratives for this store of value, and I think that's all well and good, but there's a lot of value that can be unlocked by utilizing your Bitcoin more, and I think that's why we're very bullish on all these projects we have today, which each in their own way are creating new ways to utilize Bitcoin and to take advantages of. There's basically just inherent advantages that Bitcoin has over every other cryptocurrency, and I don't foresee that maybe ever changing, but certainly not anytime soon. And it kind of feels like it's almost going to accelerate, this year with how Bitcoin is now being positioned kind of globally. And so I think, utilization of Bitcoin is actually a really key metric that people should be paying attention to, and excited to play a very small part, mainly by helping these projects in contributing to that and increasing that utilization.
Okay, Kendall, I'm going to throw a curveball at you then. there is certainly a subsect of people in the Bitcoin ecosystem who adore the ossification of the protocol, right? That this is the way it is, and this is the way it'll stay forever, and we're not going to mess around with it. We're not going to do anything else to it because it's perfect as it is. It's a golden child of crypto and beyond. How do we manage people's expectations when it comes to building brand new primitives around this golden protocol, right? When they have such a place in their heart for the ossification of it, right? There tend to be, at least from what I'm reading on Twitter, certain types of people who are kind of turned off at the idea of using their Bitcoin other than anything than letting it sit in a cold storage wallet under 5 different layers of titanium and solid steel underground in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, so in some ways that's actually an easy one. I mean, first I will say, like, I disagree with that philosophy. But even if you do agree with that philosophy, I think what's actually really nice about our approach is that it does not touch the Bitcoin core protocol at all. If Bitcoin as a core protocol never changes, I mean, I think that would be a shame, but it actually doesn't limit what chain signatures and all these projects building can do on top of, like, by adding additional functionality. It's not now going to work for that person who only believes in burying their private keys like in a 50-foot hole deep in the jungle. Like, that person's never going to use these products, and that's fine. They're not the target audience. But fortunately, there's a clearly like a very rapidly growing, I think, segment of users that will. And actually, yeah, I think even for someone like Luke, look, we're not actually with chain signatures. You don't have to change the core protocol to make Bitcoin more usable. So, like, it, I think that's kind of a nice nice alignment in that way, even if you won't agree with maybe some of the way the technology is designed.
Just to add to that as well, it's the same with the Runes protocol. Like, these are, like, the Runes protocol is essentially a hack on top of Bitcoin. There was no need for the underlying protocol to be changed in any way to enable this. Obviously, we had Taproot, which did facilitate it, but it wasn't like, these are still very slow, very methodical updates that have been made to the Bitcoin protocol. And at the end of the day, what did Bitcoiners want? They wanted a permissionless, decentralized blockchain. So maybe we can't convert these people, but at the same time, no one can really complain about building on Bitcoin and around Bitcoin. Yeah, there could be an argument if the core developers and the direction of Bitcoin itself had been changed. But when you're just working in line with the rules that have already been set with Bitcoin, then you're working in line with the rules of Bitcoin. Like, this is what it's meant to be. It's permissionless, free, decentralized. So, personally, I think people should be able to do whatever they want. But maybe let's keep the core protocol itself without too many updates and not move too fast on that side. And then let everyone else experiment and see what they can do without messing with Bitcoin itself,
Yeah, I agree a lot with what Jeff said right at the end there, which is let people do what they want. It's okay for loud voices to say their opinion, right? But I think when you start telling people what they can or can't do with decentralized tech, it's sort of anti to what you want anyways. So it's kind of a funny situation there. And then I would also add, if you want institutional adoption in the space, then you have to logically make the next step that institutions are going to want yield on their assets. They're not going to park money and cross their fingers and hope the value of an asset they purchase goes up and just only hope for price appreciation. They're going to buy an asset and hope to make it a productive asset and generate yield on it over time. So I think there's this dichotomy there between wanting institutions in the space and then wanting to keep it untouched, because I do think that there is going to be a need and very, very, very huge demand for yield generating products in the space from these institutions over time.
All right. Anything else to add?
Yeah, I fully agree with Jeff. I just feel like everyone talking about decentralized, but apparently when they keep the protocol as it is, somehow there's a lot of a centralized approach that been taken. I think it's about time It's about the era. Like the current holders probably is the one who just tap in early days, right? And they just want to make it as an investment, as a secure one. But 5 to 10 years, or probably in 20 years, like the it's just like the millennials, the Gen Z, the boomers. It's just a different thinking, right? Like the new era just gonna use their Bitcoin and try to utilize that as much as possible. They don't even think about security anymore. It's just like back to the days when people talk about fast transaction and security, and now they just talking about how earning money, how to earn money. So I think it's just about time.
For sure, it's gonna be an exciting year. Speaking of an exciting year, what is next for Atlas? What's next for Runemine? Escobar, what's next for you guys? Across the board, we want to hear it.
Sure, I'll start. We're wrapping up a first audit of our protocol. Actually, it wrapped up yesterday, and we're actually going through another audit. So we're pretty close to launch. We've built everything out on the back end, and it's just a matter of implementing our go-to-market strategy, combined with having as many users as possible that want to test it. We haven't really announced any sort of public testnet yet, which will come eventually, but we're really excited because everything we've been building over the last several months has come to fruition now, and we're depending on how things go, 1 to 2 months from launch. So everything is approaching quickly, and we're super excited.
Amazing. Escobar, go.
For Satoshi Protocol, we have go live on mainnet. It's still a private mainnet. User can start minting their near BTC or NBTC. The BTC version, the near version of Bitcoin is just because we keep their Bitcoin, their native Bitcoin secure, right? And the next thing is we're gonna work closely with all those lending protocol and also Atlas and Runemine to make the Bitcoin liquidity more visible in near, and how we can utilize that as much as possible, working with Rare Finance as well, just to make sure we can really give the retail education on how they can utilize their Bitcoin and they can earn the yield. That's the main goal for now.
Amazing. Jeff, let's hear it. Let's hear. I'm very excited about Runemine. Come on, drop the alpha.
I'll try not to take too long. So we are currently in our community round where we have given our ordinal holders the opportunity to get involved with our token at a very early stage. And we'll be rolling that out to some more kind of close parties in the near future. We go to launch to IDO with CedarFi, CedarFi, BTC Terminal, and Alex launched first week of February, and TGE that same week. We have a partnership coming out any day now, hopefully this weekend, which is going to add about 6 more rooms to our Solana bridge, as well, with about 2 more million in TVL on the Solana side. We have a couple more super exciting partnerships that we're working on with some major wallet providers. So we're in conversations with the wallet providers about our bridging infrastructure. We're in conversations with centralized exchanges about adding our bridging infrastructure. We are hoping to launch RuneShot in the next, so hopefully February, maybe March, but the sooner the better. Again, with the help of everyone else in this ecosystem, from Proximity Labs to Satoshi Protocol to everyone else, the speed that we've been building has just been so much quicker than we kind of even anticipated. And then following RuneShot, we will release the trading terminal, which will allow full trading of runes against these cross-chain assets, including existing runes. We have another potential product in line with Neartech on the back end as well. And we'll also be looking to decentralize our bridge infrastructure with our mine nodes, which our key holders can get involved and help us actually really start to decentralize out the bridge. So yeah, there's a few things on the roadmap, and hopefully we can be hiring some more staff so that I can start getting a bit more sleep at night.
Yeah, I don't know about that. If it's as big a year as we all hope, you ain't sleeping, Jeff. None of us are, and I think that's for the best. I'm definitely
Please,
seeing. I'm seeing a fire being ignited in the near ecosystem, and it's burning almost as bright as I've ever seen it. And the pace at which people are shipping now is unbelievable. Kendall, do you have any alpha? I know you've got loads of it. I know you've got a ton of it. You've always got it. Do you have any alpha you can give the people watching? Do you give the people what they want? I know for a fact you do. If you have to break some NDAs, whatever, just break them. Tell the people what they need to know. What's coming?
I mean, not to. I think basically February is clearly, as pretty much everyone on this call just mentioned, I think February is shaping up to be a big month. I think we're going to see kind of the Bitcoin ecosystem powered by Near go from 0 to 60 very quickly over those few short weeks. So that's basically the alpha. Is like, there's going to be a lot to do very, very shortly, which I think is super exciting, and it's going to become clear to kind of everyone that the products that are building using this stack just have a pretty substantial UX advantage, and are also just like finally, I think as Jeff framed kind of nicely, is like we're really going to turn Bitcoin from one of the worst, probably the worst UX in crypto, to one of the better UXs, which is going to be super exciting.
Amazing. Another question came in, Kendall. It's probably best you take it, I think. Could NIA be an L2 for Bitcoin? Or could it feel like it?
Yeah, I mean, I actually think that L2s are not great UX, which is one of at least when you have to go between an L1 and an L2. So I would say no, that's not in any way the goal. The goal is in fact to keep the experience feeling as L1 native as possible. In fact, it'll be two L1s, Near and Bitcoin. But that's actually the goal. So no, that's not really. Now, I mean, you could totally use Near Tech to build an L2 if someone's interested in that. But I'd say I think each of these protocols here are demonstrating that actually it's a lot more powerful if you really abstract things and just keep it as close to the metal as possible.
All right. You heard it here first, gents. For the Near ecosystem watching, for myself, for everybody involved, for the Bitcoin ecosystem watching, if they want to see your projects be a success, what do they need to do?
I'll go.
Go for it, Jeff.
Just get involved. Come join our Discord. Come learn. We've got honestly, our moderators are incredible. I'm pretty sure they don't sleep either. They will give you all of the information that you need at the drop of a hat. We've actually got our PAL AI integrated bot in there called Scryer. You can go ask him questions if you want. But yeah, there is so much information going on in our Discord. If you do get a Runes Key ordinal, you will get access to the Holders Vault. We do drop loads and loads of alpha to those guys. We do loads of giveaways with them in there. And we help promote other projects that we're working with in there, in line with these collabs. So, our Discord is really where everything goes on. Obviously, keep your eyes on our Twitter, but just come get involved, come learn about it, and come have some fun as well. We're trying to create the kind of Solana community feel on Bitcoin, where people are sharing alpha, they're sharing whitelists, they're sharing everything like that whilst we're building together. So, just come get involved. There's a lot of ways to win free prizes as well as to invest in the future of cross-chain tech,
Beautiful. Well said, Jeff. And where do they go? What's the website?
So the website is runemine.com. There should be links to our Discord and everything in there. We are Mine Labs on Twitter, Runemine powered by Mine Labs, but the handle is Mine Labs on Twitter.
All right, brilliant. That's runemine.com. It is scrolling across the bottom of the screen right now. Escobar, over to you. How can the people help you win?
So if you want to help us win in the market right now, to just bring more retail to understand about Bitcoin ecosystem, sign up for our whitelist access. because whitelist access will be updated for every 24 hours. So once you submit today, you can try out our on-ramp off-ramp Bitcoin to near by tomorrow, and be early as possible, because there is a lot of airdrop incentive coming out from our partners in the ecosystem. So reach out your Bitcoin to near and deploy as LP or trade it whatsoever. You can utilize it as much as possible, earn the yield, and earn the airdrop.
Tell the people, Escobar, what's the website? Where they're going? Where they're heading?
Is satos.network, satos.network.
Okay, let me get this scrolling along the bottom of the screen. And Kurt, over to you, man. Where can people go? What do they need to do? How can we help you win?
Yeah, I think the best way to support us is to use the protocol when it comes out. And that doesn't just benefit us, but it benefits the users as well. There's going to be really significant yield opportunities available that differ in a lot of ways from the existing options that users have with Bitcoin liquid staking. A lot of the current meta is points based, with guesses on what the yield will be, but we will have real yield powered by incentives from our partners on the Near network as well. So I think it'll be very, very interesting for people to use it, and that will of course support us as well.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Kendall, anything from you?
Just try stuff. We're bringing fun to Bitcoin. Try things out. Do more with your Bitcoin, and it'll do more for you.
All right. I love it. Do more with your Bitcoin. Simple as that. All right, gentlemen, we are unfortunately coming up to the hour, which breaks my heart. However, in every single one of these roundtables, these AMAs, whatever the hell you want to call it, I do love to give everybody an opportunity right at the very end, 30 seconds each, to talk about absolutely anything you want. It doesn't have to be Bitcoin. It can be. It doesn't have to be NIA, but it can be. It can be about your dogs, your cats, your family, how you go to sleep at night, how you don't go to sleep at night in the case of Jeff, the best way to exercise, the best way to do a deadlift, or the best way to squat. It can be the best type of headphones, the best type of television, what mouse you use to prevent chronic pain in your wrist. Anything you want to talk about, please talk about it right now, because there's people behind the tech. I will do it in this order: Escobar, Kurt, Jeff, Kendall, go.
Can I start, because I've got to jump onto another space in 2 minutes
Jeff,
time.
Escobar, Kurt, Kendall, go.
Number one best move I've ever made in my life: move to a country like Vietnam and work in crypto. You get beautiful weather, beautiful country, beautiful people, and the cost of living is very cheap. It also removes you from all of your friends, so you can just work all day, every day, and not spend a penny. It really is the cheat code to life. So I'd say advice to anyone: think about getting away from where you live for a little bit and try something new.
You heard it here first. Thank you, Jeff, so much. You've been absolutely brilliant. Escobar, words of wisdom, please.
Okay, believe on who you're working with. Believe on your team. Believe on what actually doesn't comes out as what you plan. It's just like everything can be better than what you plan.
There you go. You heard it here first, folks. Kurt, if you want to give us soccer tips, you can. Anything you want, anything that's on your mind.
I'll give the other football tip. Go Rams. I'm in LA,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
the Rams are in the playoffs, so I'd like to see them win. But I would say just some thoughts that I've had going through this experience here. Everyone in crypto has an opinion on what you should do, but try to do what you think you should do and what you want to do, and have your own ideas, because I think there's a lot of pushing of people to do what worked in the past, but that's not always what's going to work in the future. So I've really tried to adopt that mindset, because I feel like you can change the way. There's no one way or one size fits all approach to having a successful project, and so I think we're trying to embrace that.
All right. I love that. Kendall.
Man, so much wisdom. No, I mean, for everyone, it's great. Yeah, well, I would say, crypto really is supposed to be about collaboration and growing the pie. And we definitely sometimes forget that, especially in bull markets where things get really noisy. But try to remember that. And I think if you give people the opportunity to collaborate, then you'll be shocked at like how much help you can get. So yeah, I mean, reach out to any of us on this call, all of us willing to collaborate, especially if you're building. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And you can find us all somewhere in the weeds of Twitter. You saw the websites come across the bottom of the beautiful screen just a few moments ago. So rewind it if you forgot it. But gentlemen, it has been nothing less than a pleasure. As always, I'm excited for the upcoming Bitcoin season on Near, powered by Near's chain signatures. I'm excited for a world in which we have user-owned AI and we can fight the conglomerates of big tech and tame the evil Shoggoth that is ever growing. But until next time, God bless. Thank you very much. And I will catch you on the other side, gents. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.